Maasrot, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Dalet. Fourth Mishnah in the first chapter of Maasrot. We're continuing our discussion of when are fruits and vegetables chayav and Maasrot. So in the last two Mishnayot, we discussed different types of fruits. We're going to see that fruits and vegetables are not what we consider fruits and vegetables. And in fact, the entire glossary of Chazal was somewhat different than ours. But we learned ubeyarak, the rule was yarak. Let's go back to Mishnah Aleph for a second. Okay, the rule was, here we are. Kol shetchilato ochel, if something begins as ochel, v'sofo ochel. For example, like a cucumber, for example. It grows small, but it's edible. But then you leave it on the vine and it grows larger. Afapisho shomro lo siv ochel. Even though you're leaving it, you're allowing it to grow, to add volume. Chayav katan gadol. It's chayav in Maasrot and trumot in Maasrot, whether you pick it big or small. So our Mishnah is going to be a list of what is this yarak. What is this yarak? That's chayav gadol vekatan, as we'll see chayavim gadolim uktanim here. Ube yarak, and in vegetation, akishuim, cucumbers, hadluim, gourds, avatichim, melons. Now let's see what kishuim are. Yeah, cucumbers, gourds, watermelon, cucumber melon, right? Melafofonim, cucumber melons. Hatapuchim, apples, ve'etrogin. So Chazal considered tapuchim and etrogim to be yarak, to vegetables. Not entirely sure why, but that's what they consider them to be, because they grow small. I think the reason was, tapuchim, apples grow small, you can eat them. Etrogim, small, also you can eat them. And then they grow larger and they ripen on the tree. Now obviously the tapuach, the apple, is probably tastier, but the question is whether it's edible when it's small. So in these cases, in all of these types of vegetables, that they call them, chayavim gedolim uktanim, chayav trumot in Maasrot, gedolim uktanim. The Bartuner says, obviously, the fish betchilatan ochel, they're edible, they're food, when they first grow. V'sofan ochel, and also when they are picked, or when you leave them, if you leave them on the tree. Hey nachalim ben gedolim ben ktanim. They're edible whether they're small or large. Rabbi Shimon poter et ha'egroni etrogim bekotnam. Rabbi Shimon says, no, that etrogim, when they're very small, they're not edible, they're not considered food, and therefore they're like fruits. Nu halacha. So there's two types of almonds. You didn't know this. There's bitter almonds and sweet almonds. Okay, so the Mishnah says, and the bitter almonds, the Kahati explains, the bitter almonds were edible only when they're small. And as they would grow, if you leave them on the tree, they would become inedible, too bitter. And the sweet almonds are only edible when they're large. So therefore, if you pick them when they're small, they were inedible. So therefore, if a person picks bitter almonds when they're chayav, i.e. when they're small, patur b'metukim. They're patur in Maasrot if you pick them if you pick small sweet almonds, because when sweet almonds are small, then they're bitter, they're inedible. Similarly, hachayav b'metukim, if you pick an almond when it's sweet, it's chayav when it's large. So if you pick a sweet almond when it's large, it's chayav. But if you pick a bitter almond when it's large, patur b'marim, it's patur because it's not edible. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's basically straightforward. If you pick a bitter almond when it's small, it's chayav. If you pick a sweet almond when it's small, it's patur. If you pick a sweet almond when it's large, it's chayav. If you pick a bitter almond when it's large, it's patur because it's not edible. Stop here if you have any comments or questions. As always, arspolter@gmail.com. We'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, of Simcha ben Yitzchak Halman. Have a good day.